Hey, insiders. Have you ever wondered how music is created for brands and commercials, such as Levi's, BMW, and Nike, just to name a few? Well, if you have, then you don't want to miss this episode with music supervisor Joey Prather, creative director of Scout Music. We discuss the current landscape of music in commercials and how fees are determined for music usage, and much, much more. Coming right up. We managed to catch up with Joey Prather of BlueScout Music. Joey, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Great to be here.
Now, your career began, I guess, in music at a very young age. You were a concert pianist. You come from a musical background. Do you remember at what point in your life, or was there a point that you made a decision that music was going to be your career?
I don't know if it was a decision. It kind of happened to me, the way it happens to a lot of people. I always found myself at the piano around the house, and then a Casio keyboard is what changed my life. I think the rumba beat, or being able to make a beat and play, at one time, that blew my 8-year-old mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about your professional career?
Sure.
In terms of this?
Sure. So the piano stuff, that's what got me through college. I'm from a small town in Kentucky. And it was my ticket to a different kind of life for myself. Ended up working in New York and playing for a lot of opera singers and tours and performances. But I always played in bands in the evenings, and had all my social friends were in bands, and so I always was really into that stuff. And so more and more I saw, well, here I am in New York, I can make this happen, right? So I got a little opportunity with an ad agency, and they put a spotlight on some of our music. I ended up working for a music production house in New York, in Soho, and that was the moment where I knew that I could make this a career. It was called Face the Music, and it's still around, but the owner of it had been working in the ad world since the 60s, and so that's back in the day of $1 million music budgets and these huge productions. And then you fast forward to today, and it couldn't be more different. Budgets are tight, timelines are tight, but there's a ton of projects out there. So we went from a small number of really big projects to a large number of often smaller projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
You then moved out to California and you formed your own company. And you were very actively involved in the world of commercial.
Yep.
Which is a little different than film and television placements for songs into TV and motion pictures.
Right.
Can you talk to us about the state of the art today? Like, what's going on in the world of commercials today as far as your world is concerned?
Sure. It's the way I see it. And we're not representative of all shops, obviously. The clients that come to us, we have a lot of repeat business, and we develop relationships over time, right? So it can be everywhere from, in the last year, we licensed a well-known song for a big video game spot for, $350,000. And then a lot of the time you're doing favors for friends for $500, trying to make the budget work and trying to get the music that I always say, everyone always needs music that sounds more expensive than their budget. So I think in whatever film, TV, ads, whatever it is, that's kind of like the go-to. If you can provide music that sounds more expensive than what it is, then you're going to find work, you're going to find opportunities for your artists.
Talk to me about fees. You've mentioned a wide range of fees in your last answer, which was really interesting to hear. In your experience, how are fees determined in your world?
They're determined basically from the agency or the film production company's budget. And, as you well know, music is very often last to get dealt with. Sometimes you have a track that it sounds like it's a shoe-in, you think it's going to happen, the negotiation falls through. So the money has been spent elsewhere, or they have, worked with a composer and spent a lot of money on that composition. Composition didn't work out the way they needed to. So ultimately, it's just such a mixed bag. This week we're working on a PSA, and so you think PSA is not going to have a lot of budget, but it's, $30,000 for a little TV spot. And so, that happens a lot. So it is so varied, but ultimately you get what you can, and you try to get and advocate for your artist as much as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about BlueScout Music in particular in your company.
Sure.
You landed worked with a lot of very significant brands. BMW, Levi's, Electronic Arts.
Yes. Yep.
And can you talk to us on a, I guess, personal and professional level of what would you say were the most important components in landing those jobs?
It's relationships. It's always relationships. What can you offer someone that the 10 people right behind you can't offer, right? And so for me, it's really good music. And how do you say good? And I'll sum that up by saying compelling. I would sum that up in saying real. I would sum that up by saying you can tell people really put something real into it as opposed to trying to fit a certain image or make a certain sound. You got to be real for it to really resonate with people. So that's number one. Number two is just having a relationship with someone where they know that you're not going to drop the ball, and where they know that you're going to bust your butt to find the right track at the budget that they have.
Okay, so it sounds like relationships are key.
Oh.
And trust and chemistry seems to be a component to this as well.
Oh, big time. You know, I have an assistant, and in the last year I've done a lot of, just working with him how to interact with clients. And what I find myself saying over and over and over is dot your I's, cross your T's, because that level of detail, and they want to see the hustle. And that's what keeps people coming back, at least in my world.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to shift a bit to film and television.
Sure.
You've placed songs in a number of, big TV shows and movies over the last couple of years. And especially in television, I want to ask you, do you find that today in the world of TV, we have a wider variety of music being used and a wider demand of music in television than ever before?
Well, sure. I think it's just like the programming itself, right? The programming has exploded, right? There's how many cable channels, there's all these web outlets, and there's more of a culture of exploring, seeing what the new interests are of people, that are the viewers, right? Exploring, of course, reality, but exploring just niche programming or kind of quirky comedies, more edgy shows that would, have been on in the 90s. And I think the music has to reflect that, right? So, we do a lot on Shameless, and, super edgy, super cool. And we can go as edgy as we want when we throw our pitches, to the supervisor on that. And, a lot of them land, and so in the past, you would have to worry in the past about something being too, maybe not friendly enough for TV, but here you get to really go for it.
Okay. Do you find that the landscape of film and TV is increasing, or has it decreased?
The landscape of film and TV, it's exponentially increased.
Okay.
Big time. I mean, there's so many opportunities in a lot of ways. I always think back to, pre-war era when, bands would be on the stage and, I think, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The country boys were playing music and it was for some biscuit company, and so that in a way, these larger media like film and TV projects or ad projects, they're a good sponsor or they're a good vehicle to get your music out there. And that is the key to this whole thing, is taking what's out there in the landscape, all these opportunities, and merging your sound, attaching it to a project.
A lot of our viewers at MUBUTV are composers, they're songwriters, they're up-and-coming artists. What would you say would be some concrete steps that you could advise them in terms of pursuing a career as a, musician or as a writer who wants to get into this field?
Sure. Don't stop. Keep doing it. Keep honing your craft and keep digging within, to what is your sound. Not trying to do, here's 5 rock cues and here's 5 classical cues. And my career's kind of been like that, but I've been really lucky to be able to work in a few genres. For most people, just nail a genre and then branch out from there. Nail the genre that is, think what your top 3 albums would be if you were on a desert island, and what is your music? And just keep asking yourself that question. How do you make it? Is it recorded at home? Is that where you're more comfortable to make these sounds the best? It doesn't have to be a big budget enterprise. Match the process to the music you feel in your heart, and the rest tends to take care of itself.
Throughout your life, professionally, personally, have there been any books, any specific, whether they're, related to music or not, that have been really inspirational to you throughout your career?
I wish I had the title, but it was it's a compendium of producers talking about producing the hits, classic songs. I know there was some Rolling Stone sessions in there. Just reading how music is really made, that's as good as it gets, right? Because in this world where you have a Mac and you're sitting in your bedroom and we're all kind of looking at the same kind of environment, really thinking about situationally how you can set yourself up to inspire real art being made. I mean, music is art, ultimately, right? And that book just drives that home over and over. These classic songs we hear on the radio, that's art, and that's why we still listen to it. It resonates and it keeps lasting generations.
Some really valuable pieces of information and insights from Joey. especially for all of you looking to place your music to advertising and commercial. So, insiders, question of the day. What were the most educational aspects of our conversation with Joey? Was it the landscape of music and commercials today? Or was it how fees are determined for music usage? Or maybe it was something else that's connected with you. If you have any ideas or experiences that you'd like to share regarding this video, we'd love to hear from you and connect in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to MUBUTV for more information on how to educate, empower, and engage your music career. You can also check out a summary of this episode, everything we talked about, in the YouTube description as well. And if you enjoyed this video, we'd really love it if you hit the like button and let us know what other kinds of videos and types of content you want to see on our channel. Hit us up in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.